Everyone thinks the Anker Soundcore Space One is just another budget noise canceller with big marketing numbers. But here's the thing, the headline isn't the 98% claim, it's how consistently it blocks real voices in the wild. In my testing, it reduced chatter more reliably than a couple of pricier sets I own, and that shocked me. But it's not perfect, and if you grab it for the wrong reasons, you'll be disappointed. I spent 10 days commuting, office hopping, and taking calls to figure out where it wins and where it quietly cuts corners. What I discovered will either make this your next daily driver or send you back to Sony or Bose. Before we dive into what I discovered, quick heads up. If you're already leaning Space One for the value and want the best current price, I dropped a link below. But hang tight, because some of my findings might change how you set it up and even how you wear it. I wanted a travel-ready pair that handled voices on trains and in cafes without the premium brand price. I've been burned before. The last budget killer I tried crushed engine rumble but left me hearing every conversation 2 rows back. Frustrating, I also needed long battery life for back-to-back flights and decent comfort for marathon edit sessions. I do a lot of video work, so latency and multipoint matter. And yes, I was skeptical of another 98% noise reduction claim. Marketing loves round numbers. The Space One promised adaptive ANC that auto-calibrates for sound leakage, LDAC for high-res wireless, 40 hours with ANC on, and those 8-degree rotating ear cups for comfort. With a 4.4-star rating on Amazon, I figured there was something here. I just wanted to know if it was more than hype. Test 1. Commuting chaos. Subway platforms, bus rides, a crowded cafe. With adaptive ANC on, the Space One did something different. It tamped down mid to high frequency chatter better than most in this price bracket. Announcements were still faintly audible, but the human voice band was pushed back to a manageable murmur. Low frequency engine rumble, good, not class leading. Sony's XM5 still wins for the deep whoosh. But then I loosened the fit slightly to simulate real-world slippage. Here's where it gets interesting. The Space One's leakage compensation kicked in and the ANC held up better than I expected. Voices didn't suddenly leak through like they do on a lot of budget cans. Test 2. Office and home. Keyboard clacks, AC hum, coworkers chatting right behind me. The Space One continued to prioritize the mids, which meant less mental fatigue. Transparency mode was usable for quick conversations, not as natural as Bose but far from tinny. There's a faint hiss if you're in a silent room with transparency on, but in practice it's fine. Test 3. Audio quality. With LDAC on my Android device, the 4D drivers opened up the detail. Cymbals had better shimmer, vocals stepped forward, and bass stayed tighter than I expected at this tier. Switch to AAC on iPhone and you still get a clean, slightly V-shaped tuning with a bit of bass lift and a crisp top end. Out of the box it's lively. In the Soundcore app, I dialed back 2.4K HZ a touch to soften sibilance on bright mixes. Not audiophile neutral, but energetic and rewarding. But then battery. With ANC on, mixed volume around 60% and AAC, I logged just under 40 hours across the week, right on target. Flip on LDAC and expect a meaningful drop. I averaged roughly the high 20s to low 30s in hours, which is normal for high bitrate codecs. Not a deal breaker, just plan accordingly. Test 4. Calls. In quiet rooms, call quality is solid. In light traffic, still understandable. Add wind and the mics struggle, you'll sound thinner and choppier. It's better than the old Life Q30, but it's not dethroning the best call headsets out there. If you live on Zoom in noisy spaces, consider that. Connectivity and comfort. Bluetooth 5.3 with stable multipoint was reliable across my laptop and phone. Range was apartment-wide with one wall between. Latency for video is a non-issue. For gaming, you'll still notice a delay compared to low-latency dongle setups. Comfort-wise, the ear cups rotate to match your head angle and the headband distributes pressure well. I wore them for 3-hour edits without hotspots. The clamp is snug to support ANC. If you have a bigger head, expect a few days of break-in. Here's the revelation. The Space One's real edge isn't raw ANC power. Its consistency. That leak compensation and focus on voice reduction meant I didn't have to constantly readjust the seal in motion to keep chatter at bay. In practical terms, it felt calmer. Over 10 days, that mattered more than a few extra decibels of engine hum reduction. And the sound quality with LDAC punched well above its bracket, detailed without turning harsh, with bass that stays controlled even when you push it. I went in expecting a Life Q30 with new paint. I came out thinking, for everyday commuting and office use, this genuinely competes with older flagships and nips at the heels of the latest in the frequencies that bug you most. Versus Sony XM5 and Bose QC45, Sony still wins for low-end ANC and overall polish. Bose wins for transparency, naturalness, and call clarity in chaos. But the Space One gets you a surprising slice of that experience for a fraction of the price, and in one specific lane, tamping down human voices, it sometimes feels subjectively better because it holds up as the fit shifts. Too good to be true? Not exactly. You sacrifice top-tier mic performance in wind and the absolute quietest cabin hush, and LDAC will eat more battery, but the core promise holds up. Now that you know the Space One's secret sauce is consistent voice reduction with adaptive leak compensation, you'll want to snag it while it's still sitting in that sweet value spot. I've linked the best current price below, and I'll keep it updated if deals drop or stock changes. Bottom line, if you commute, work in open offices, or want travel headphones that tame chatter and still deliver lively, detail-rich sound, the Anker Soundcore Space One is a smart buy. If you prioritize the quietest plain cabin, pristine transparency, or bulletproof windy call quality, look at Sony or Bose. For everyone else, this is the rare mid-priced pair that earns its claims where it counts. Get the fit right, tweak the EQ in the app, and enjoy the calm.